On the map, Binghamton might just be a small dot in New York State. But behind its modest size lies a story that's surprisingly complex. There was a time of industrial glory, followed by a downturn that left many residents struggling to get by. There are beautiful historic buildings, but also rows of empty storefronts and abandoned homes. Still, this isn't a one-note story. Binghamton is also home to a prestigious university, vibrant arts festivals, and major projects slowly trying to turn things around. Let's take a closer look at life in a city where contrasts are hard to miss. In the southern tip of New York State, right in Broome County and just a stone's throw from the Pennsylvania border, stands Binghamton, a small city that once shone brightly. People used to call it the Valley of Opportunity because this was where industrial giants like IBM and major manufacturing plants built the future for thousands of families. But time doesn't always play fair. Today, behind the calm river and the old buildings that hold so much history, there's a harsher story, staggering poverty and crime rates that place Binghamton among the most dangerous cities in all of upstate New York. There was a time when Binghamton stood as a symbol of hope in upstate New York. In the mid-20th century, the city had it all: IBM, born in neighboring Endicott, and the Endicott Johnson Shoe Company, one of America's largest shoe manufacturers. These factories became magnets for migration. People came from across the country, even from Eastern Europe, chasing the American dream here. But by the 1980s, the storm of deindustrialization hit. IBM moved much of its operations overseas, shoe factories shut down, and the paper industry faded. Within just a few decades, thousands of jobs vanished. The domino effect followed. Stores went quiet, houses fell into disrepair, and the city's population plunged from over 80,000 at its peak to around 46,000 today. What makes the story even harsher is that more than 31% of residents now live below the poverty line, and 42% of children in Binghamton grow up in those conditions. Numbers hard to believe for a city that was once so prosperous. Even those working full-time often can't cover basic living expenses. This is the reality of the working poor. People who work hard, yet still rely on food assistance or government aid just to get by. Ironically, despite being in the wealthy state of New York, Binghamton ranks among the poorest cities in upstate New York. Adding to the sharp contrast, the city is home to Binghamton University, one of the top public universities in the U.S. The campus feels like an island of prosperity in a sea of economic struggle, with student life set apart from the realities faced by local residents. This gap touches nearly every part of life, including safety. In many American cities, high poverty almost always goes hand in hand with rising crime, and Binghamton is no exception. Poverty in Binghamton doesn't just drain wallets, it erodes the sense of safety. By day, parts of downtown still have a pulse. Students coming and going from cafes, government workers rushing to their offices. But once the sun goes down, the story changes. Dim streetlights, rows of empty storefronts, and quiet sidewalks give the air a sense of caution. Locals know exactly which streets are safe to walk and which ones are best avoided. The statistics are eyebrow-raising. Binghamton's overall crime rate sits at 4,367 per 100,000 residents, about 88% higher than the national average. And this isn't just a number on a chart. It means that out of every 1,000 people, the odds of becoming a victim are far greater than in most U.S. cities. Violent crime? That rate is 673 per 100,000, more than double the national average. The odds work out to about 1 in 141. So if you live here for a few years, there's a good chance you'll know someone who's been a victim. Property crime is just as troubling. Car theft, home break-ins, vandalism, you've got a 1 in 25 chance. Many of the city's vacant homes, left behind when the factories closed, are now used for drug deals or as hideouts for criminals. Interestingly, there's what some call the college-town gap. Binghamton University serves as both an economic hub and a security fortress. Around campus, crime is rare thanks to tight security and the constant churn of the student economy. But just a few blocks outside that safe zone, the view changes fast. High unemployment, abandoned buildings, and illegal activity that sometimes slips past the police. The contrast is so stark that students have a name for it: the invisible border, a line you can't see but can definitely feel. Over the past decade, local media has frequently reported spikes in narcotics cases, especially fentanyl, which in turn fuels petty theft to fund drug habits. Police admit they're stretched thin, the area is large, resources are limited, and the crimes are getting more complex. Here, safety isn't a given. Many people make a habit of glancing over their shoulder at night, locking doors with multiple bolts, and installing floodlights in their yards. It's not paranoia, it's survival, and it's become part of the city's culture. Downtown Binghamton by day feels like watching two worlds blend into one. There are early 20th century historic buildings standing strong with beautifully carved stone facades. But between that elegance are plenty of boarded up windows, dusty doors, and long abandoned storefronts. Revitalization projects are underway, but progress is slow. Sometimes, by the time one building is restored, two others have already faded further. Housing here is relatively cheap compared to the national average, around $156,000. In fact, some homes cost the same as a new family car in a big city, but low prices often come with a bonus to-do list. Leaky roofs, outdated electrical wiring, plumbing that needs replacing, or aging heating systems. Many houses are relics from the city's early industrial era, and since the factories closed, most have gone without major upkeep. Public transportation exists, but it's thin. Local buses reach much of the city, but if you want to get to bigger cities like Syracuse or New York City, be prepared for a long haul. A trip to Manhattan can take more than 3 hours by bus or car, making Binghamton feel somewhat cut off, despite being in the same state. The most noticeable divide is between Binghamton University's campus area and downtown. Around campus, you'll find modern cafes, international restaurants, and bookstores buzzing with students from around the world. It's lively, safe, and busy. But walk just a few blocks away and the rhythm changes. Quiet streets, vacant buildings, and a striking visual contrast. There's a local phrase that's funny but a little sad. Ghost town after 6, meaning once 6 o'clock hits, most shops and offices close, leaving downtown nearly empty until the next morning. It's a phenomenon that underscores just how separate student life is from that of the local residents. While Binghamton has long been hit by poverty and crime, the city hasn't completely given up. In the middle of hardship, there's still a pulse of optimism. Binghamton University stands like a beacon of hope, a prestigious public campus that draws thousands of students from around the world, fuels the local economy, and keeps certain parts of the city feeling alive. Its culture hasn't gone dim either. Take the Luma Projection Arts Festival, which transforms downtown each year into a spectacular stage of light. There's also the weekly farmers market, offering not only fresh produce, but also music, laughter, and warm conversations among neighbors. Meanwhile, both city and state governments continue rolling out improvement programs aimed at turning things around. The Downtown Revitalization Initiative, DRI, is pouring $10 million into renovating Clinton Street in the First Ward. From upgrading infrastructure and beautifying building facades to revitalizing public spaces. The block-by-block infill housing program provides up to $300,000 for single-family homes and $400,000 for two-family homes on city-owned lots, specifically for low-income residents. There's also the $94 million renovation of Town and Country apartments, modernizing 256 affordable housing units with energy-efficient technology and Section 8 rent support. An additional $193 million from the Home Art Program is being used to build new housing, provide direct rental assistance, and support services for the homeless. On top of that, state initiatives to fight child poverty have brought the Empire State Child Credit, free school lunches for all students, and the Housing Access Voucher Program to help vulnerable families. Change doesn't happen overnight, but for those who choose to stay, each of these projects is a sign that Binghamton isn't finished, that behind the shadows of its past, there's always a chance to rebuild.